I'll be doing a video on, are you knocking yourself out of your intuitiveness and how? So with that, I'll be using some concepts from SuperConscious Education and my intuition. And with that being said, my gorgeous triple tears, let's get into the cards. So now, for the first group, my perfectionists, the ones who know exactly how things should be done in order for them to turn out stellar, right? So, please, are they knocking this? Okay, wait. Are my perfectionists knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Yes. How? Let's see. Please, angels and guides, and most of the highest good, who has a message for my perfectionists? How are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Please, angels and guides, and you got, word vomit. You got consciousness, indirectness, reaction in the reverse, so you're not reacting to things. You're knocking yourself out of your intuitiveness, my perfectionist. Because, so you're not really following your intuitiveness because you're trying to follow like, the thing is, with you, you just know how things should be in order for them to be perfect, right? But this is just the consciousness having flipped. It's showing me that you are not following your intuition. You're following your like an order of actions that need to be done. So you're not really following your intuition. You're following a model. And because you're following a model and you're being indirect in regards to your intuition, right? People are like, what's going on? You've lost your mojo. And you're like, I cannot be losing my mojo. I am utilizing this model that I wrote myself, right? But the thing is that your intuition is just like that. You just know, and like a model won't really be helpful for you. You just really need to follow your intuition. And because of the fact that you are thinking, because you wrote this model due to your intuition, you are thinking that there's no need to react. It's going to pan out, is what I'm getting. Because it will resolve a negative issue about yourself. It will resolve a negative issue or negative belief about yourself. Is someone Okay, so does someone tease you because you know exactly how things, like, people are annoyed, is what I'm getting, that you know how things should be done in order for them to turn out great. So even if they, like, they dislike you, but they have to follow your word because they know it's going to turn out perfect, like it's going to come out stellar. But because of that, they picked on you, teased you. I mean, that was the case for me when I was a kid. Everyone used to call me, like, we used to tease my grandmother, call her Mrs. Perfect, and I have that gene as well. So like, I thought that being perfect all the time was not really going towards perfection is not something that you should be doing. Now I have learned that now it's going for perfection is not the bad thing. It's the way you lead people towards perfection, which is the key. So I feel like that is what you need to work on as well, resolving a negative issue about you, a negative belief about yourself. It's not the belief, it's not what people say, it's not the fact that you're a perfectionist, it's the way you communicate how they should get into that perfection mode. How they will achieve it is what I'm getting. Okay, so hey, we're more like, we're very much alike in that case. So yeah, for my helpers. So please, angels and guides, are my helpers knocking themselves out? Helpers are the ones who know exactly how they can assist someone else in any given situation. Okay, so are my helpers knocking themselves out? I get a yes. Uh, Actually, it's a no. I'm confused. Maybe that is the thing. You're confused. You're very similarly to perfectionist. You're, but this time you are not the one who wrote the model. So this is you, and you know that the way that you do you is by following your intuition and whatever pops up, and in any way, shape, or form that is. So now you're here, you want to help others, but then for some reason, okay, you helped, but it backfired on the person, and now they're coming at you with a vengeance because it didn't work out. You didn't deliver what you promised. But the thing is that it will work out. They just need to have a little more patience. It's not gonna happen like this. It's gonna take some time. Is what I'm getting. Right now, how exactly are my helpers knocking themselves out? And we got universal signs, react, reaction, indirectness, and choice through default. So I get that the people who who came to see you and who asked for your suggestions are not really following your suggestions. They're not. In French, we say there's a word like a prescription. Okay, so they aren't really following your prescription to the T. They're actually half-assing it. And so because they're half-assing it, they're going on, they're looking at universal signs in order to direct them. And they are reacting to those universal signs. And though that reaction is making them be indirect in coming to you and say, well, you know, what I'm getting is that they're coming to you and they're saying, well, this doesn't work. But you told them specifically what to do, and they're not doing specifically what they should be doing. They're not doing that. So, because they're not doing that, they're choosing through default what they think might help, what they consciously think might help, right? But that doesn't really answer the issue because they're not following your prescription, right? It's like an antidote or an antibiotic. You need to absolutely follow that antibiotic prescription and directions fully. You can't just do it half-assed, okay? Because sometimes your immune system might get strong and defeat most of it, but then still have the bacteria inside of you, and that little bit of bacteria that the antibacteria, the antibiotics didn't kill, okay, is going to regain strength. And when they regain strength, it takes over your system, and then you're like, oh, but I took it. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But then the doctor's like, well, did you follow the prescription completely? And you're like, no. And, well, there you have it. There's some stuff that you can't half-ass. I'm sorry, you just can't. So now, that was for my helpers. Okay, so now for my achievers. Okay. For my achievers. Are my achievers knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness? Yes. And a slight no. So So I guess at the beginning of the week, or like at some point you are, but towards the end of the week, you're gonna learn from your lesson, from the mistakes, and you are going to like like avoid them. Now I get conscious. So my achievers are the ones who like to set goals for themselves and work towards attaining them. And they just intuitively know how to go about achieving them, right? But and in this case, you aren't intuitively, you're not following your intuition. You're following a set model, right? A model that was handed to you by your higher ups or your family members or whatever. So you're not really following your intuition. You're following someone else's uh, directions, which might work, but might also flop and fail miserably. So be mindful. Now for my individualists. So are my individualists knocking themselves out? I get a no, but a yes. So I guess towards the end of the week you are, but like towards the beginning of the week you aren't. That's what I'm getting. So for the end of the week, wait, okay, we got choice through default. You're knocking yourself out by choosing through default. You, there you go. So my individualist, okay, I am getting that. Well, you are one of those who likes to be center of attention, who knows exactly what they should do next in order to keep being relevant. But at this point, I feel like you're at an impasse, and you're like, what should I do? But you see the options in front of you, and instead of following your intuition, you're actually following choice through default, right? You're yes. So you're like follow your intuition. Know what it is that you need to do next in order to be authentic to you. But if you choose through default, you're not really being authentic to you. You're being authentic to what other people are saying, right? So in this instance, I feel like that is the worst thing that you can do for you. Now, for my investigators, the scientists, the ones who like to push the boundaries just a little farther. So, are my investigators knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? I get a yes. So, I'm getting that like for 6 days. Okay, you'll be you will be knocking yourself out, and then or it's the revert, or it could be the okay. So it's either for 6 days you'll be knocking yourself out, and then on the seventh day you'll figure out how to get back into your intuitiveness, or um, for 6 days you won't be knocking yourself out, and then on the seventh day you will. Okay. So how will my investigators be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness? Reaction. I feel like so you're reacting and you're choosing through default. You don't see any way. You don't see a way out. Is what I'm getting. Any other way out? So my investigators, the data that you received, the reaction that you got, okay, it's causing you to react to something, and with that reaction, okay, I feel like you aren't really. Uh, so with that reaction, you're not sure what to do next because something is not adding up. So because of that, you're just choosing by default. Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of perplexed. It's going to differ for every single one of you. So please be mindful. And if you guys hear about it or figure it out, let me know in the comments below. I would love it. Now, for my loyalists. So please, the ones who like to defend an idea for as long as it takes. So please, angels and guides, anyone from the highest good who has a message for my loyalists, please come forward and share if they are knocking themselves out. I gotta know. But yes. So you aren't, and then you are. But why? Why are they all of a sudden knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness? Indirectness, resolving a negative issue about yourself, and choice to default. So, my loyalists, you're being direct. I feel like there has been a change in the wind, and you're changing your thought process, which is not something that happens every single day. Um, Changing your thought process because you're trying to resolve a negative issue, a negative belief about yourself, and because of that, you're choosing through default. You're like, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to choose that which most of the people in my sphere of individuals I know tell me to do. So it's like you feel like you don't have any other choice, so you're choosing that. Okay. Interesting. So now for my enthusiasts, the ones who are enthusiastic about an idea. So please, angels and guides, anyone who has good, are my enthusiasts knocking themselves out? I guess no, but yeah. Forgive. I don't know if there's a time issue connected to this. I'm not getting that. So why are my enthusiasts knocking themselves out? You got negative belief about yourself, choice through default, and universal sign. So my enthusiasts are knocking themselves. There's one missing. Okay. My enthusiasts are knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week because they they aren't following their enthusiasm. They're following what other people are saying, what the universe is telling them, and they're following the universe because they feel like they've knocked themselves out of their intuitiveness, and that is a negative belief they have about themselves, and choice through default. Because of that negative belief about themselves, they're also choosing through default a way as to fix the issue. Fix, okay, I'm getting do this, fix. Not in those specific terms, but I got I saw myself do this. Air quotes. Mm, you don't need to be fixed, okay? You don't. But what you do need to do is change your perception about yourself in order to realign with the fact that you are intuitive. You haven't lost your mojo, is what I'm getting. This now for my protectors. So, yep. Yep. So, please, angels and guides, anyone from the highest good who has a message for my protectors, please come forward and share what they should expect for the coming week. Please, angels and guides, anyone from the highest good who has a message for my protectors, please come forward and share what is it that are they knocking them? Okay, first of all, are my protectors knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? I get a yes. So, how are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, they're choosing through default. They're resolving a negative issue about themselves. They're reacting. They are being conscious about it. They're choosing by default, and they're also utilizing universal signs. So, my protectors, you aren't really protecting much. You're not protecting your way of thinking. That which you know works for you. You're not doing that. What you're doing is you're protecting someone outside of you who is telling you how you should be doing this, which doesn't really apply because, well, that's them and this is you and you don't work like them. So why are they telling you how it works? Okay, it's very old school, old fashioned mentality. No, you have to change in order to fit in my box. No. Okay. So you're choosing by default by listening to your elder or listening to this other person because for some reason you trust them in order to resolve a negative belief about yourself. So you're basically reacting to what they're saying instead of actually taking a step back and being like, wait a minute, why are they telling me this? Why does this feel like I need to pay attention to it? Why do I believe them more than me? Something's off. Yeah. So you're reacting to what they're saying, which makes you feel conscious about your method of intuiting, which then brings you to choose conditionally. Like, be like, I will only listen to my intuition if this happens. Or, like, my intuition can only be working if this happens. For some reason, why are you believing this person so much? Who are they to tell you how? If this is a parent, that's fine. But you should still take you should take what they say with a grain of salt. And still go ahead and do what you want. This is something my dad told me. Because his dad was very controlling, right? My dad and my mom had very controlling fathers. And then you have universal signs. So on top of having a very domineering like father figure or parent figure, you also are like, okay, so I can't believe in myself. And so if I can't believe in what my higher self is telling me, I need to look for the outside signs, is what I'm getting, which will not actually be helpful. So this was for my gorgeous protectors. Now for my chameleons, the ones who can use all aforementioned methods of intuiting stuff. So, eh, so please, angels and guides, are my chameleons knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness? I get a no. I get a no. I get a no. No, you're not. But if you do, I feel like on the last day, on the seventh day from this reading, from you watching this reading, I feel like you will. Slightly. So it's not a full on not following your intuition, it's a slight not following your intuition. So what you are trying to accomplish is half done. Okay. Or half done or half assed. Okay. I'm looking at this because you feel like you're not allowed. Hmm. That is interesting. So why aren't my comedians knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? That is a lot. Okay, so I'm getting indirectness, universal signs, reaction, conditional choice, conscious, and resolving a negative issue about yourself. So something has got you perplexed. So instead of using your intuition, you're using someone else's, and that's how you're being indirect. And that person is suggesting that you look at universal signs. And those universal signs are, well, because you're not in your intuitiveness this week, you're reacting to the universal signs, and you're like, so you're emotionally reacting to those emotional signs, which then leads you to conditionally choose what needs to be chosen. And due to that, you're being conscious. You're following your conscious mind, not your subconscious mind, meaning you aren't following your intuition. You're not following what your higher self is telling you. You're following what your ego mind is telling you, what it thinks that you should be doing, which is not necessarily the best thing. All which to resolve a negative issue, negative belief about yourself, because for some reason, you know, so the same people who said use the universal signs are telling you you got something wrong with you. You don't know how this works. You are doing it wrong. Well, I'm sorry, but we're all different. So they're doing it wrong. They're teaching wrong, is what I'm getting. Okay? So, my gorgeous triple tears, this is all that I have for you guys this week. If you like this and if you'd like me to go deeper into your specific situation, please contact me at the email box below, and it'll be my pleasure to assist. In that same box, you'll find a little description of this video and my price for private readings, as well as the email you can send donations to on PayPal if you feel so called. And with that being said, my gorgeous triple tears, I wish you guys all a very good week, and I'll see you next time with that. Bye.